You have arrived at my channel, Humblehus. Welcome. This is the blanket we'll be making. It is called the Blueberry Yogurt Baby Blanket. And the only reason why I named it that is because as I was thinking of the pattern, I was eating yogurt with blueberries in it. Now, if you've ever done mosaic crochet, it does give you a bit of a vibe of that mosaic crochet style. What I like about this blanket is that there's a lot of spaces in between the rows, so it is very breathable. Of course, never leave a baby unattended with a blanket. This blanket is so soft and cuddly. I know you're gonna love making it. Let me tell you what you're going to need for this. You will need scissors, a crochet hook, and a yarn needle. The crochet hook, the size that I'll be using is a size J or 6 millimeters. You will also need a measuring tape. The yarns for this are the Bernat Bundle Up by Yarnspirations, 8.8 ounces or 250 grams. It's 100% polyester. It is a medium 4 weight, and the recommended hook size for this is a 5.5 millimeters. The other yarn, this is the other yarn. It is a Yarnspirations Karen Latte Cakes. This is also 8.8 ounces, 250 grams. It is 58% acrylic and 42% nylon. This one is a bulky 5 weight. And the recommended hook size is a 6.5 millimeters. And that is the reason why I am using a 6 millimeter size hook, so that I'm right in between the two yarns. The color for this one is the Earl Grey. I do want to mention that if you decide to make this blanket in different sizes, you have to crochet in multiples of 4. And then always add 2 at the end. So like, let's say if you have 8, if you start with a chain of 8, then you need to add 2 more to that. Or here, this one is a swatch that I made. There are 16 chains, and then you had to add 2 at the end. And this swatch, so these are 16 chains. That means this is about 5 inches wide. Just to give you an idea what 5 inches look like, I will be starting with this marshmallow colored yarn. So our color A, let's do a slip knot. Make a loop, and with your hook, go into the center, under the yarn, and grab a hold of this loose end, and carefully pull it to the middle. So put your thumb on it, because you need to hold on to both ends and then pull in opposite directions. Then pull on one of the sides to adjust it onto your hook, and there you have your slip knot. Now to chain, all you do is you yarn over, twist, and pull it through that loop. So that is your first chain. Once again, yarn over, pull it through. There's 2. There's 3. Okay, continue until you have a total of 88 chains. Try to make them as evenly as possible. I know, especially if you're a beginner, it is sometimes a little difficult, but with practice you'll get to it. I am now done with my 88 chains. I added 2. Now for row number 1, we're going to go back with single crochets only. So if this is your chain, your foundation chain, you're going to turn it, and you will see the back of it has these little loops right here. And that is where you want to insert your hook. Okay, so that first one is right here. You yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Again, go through this loop right here, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. You will go back with single crochets only all the way. This is just to give the foundation chain some support. Now I am back where I started. At the end of row 1, you should have 89 single crochets. Let's chain 1, turn our work. For row number 2, we are going to single crochet into the same stitch right here. So insert your hook, and you are now going through 2 loops. Do you see how every stitch has 2 loops now? One on each side, so you will go through both of those loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Let's chain 4. Okay, now we have to count. You have to skip 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then in the 4th one we will do a single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Here's my 4th one. Go through both loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Once again, let's chain 4, and we will skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and into this 4th one we will do a single crochet, go through those 2 loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That is the pattern that you're going to keep repeating, where you chain 4, you skip 3, and then in the 4th one you do your single crochet. I will meet you when you are done with this row. Now that I am almost at the end of row 2, I will chain those 4 again, and then skip 3 and insert into that last stitch. So if you don't have the same thing, that means you did something wrong and you have to go back. Just make sure you're always counting along. Now we are going to switch colors. So here's my color B, or my colored yarn. I'm going to make a little loop around my hook, and then I am going to pull it through that last loop that we have on our hook. Then you want to pull tight on that loop. So basically the new yarn is going to take up the space of that old loop. Alright, now you're going to have that loose end, which you can drop to the side, and chain 1 and turn your work. So we have that first stitch here, which was that single crochet, and then we have the chains. You always want to go into that first stitch and do a single crochet. Then we're going to repeat the same pattern, which is the chain 4, skip these chains, and then insert your hook into this single crochet right here, and also do a single crochet. This is row number 3, so you are repeating the same pattern as you did in row number 2. And here we are at the end of row number 3, and I did my 4 chains. Now make sure you skip 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, and then this right here is that last stitch where you want to insert your hook. To show you what that looks like, that is where you do that last single crochet. For row number 4, we are going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Now turn your work. We are not going to crochet into this stitch. Now we are going to crochet into this space. We will do 3 double crochets into each space. So you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through the next 2 loops. Once again, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Last one, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. So there's your 3 double crochets. Now we get to the post of the single crochet from the previous row. We are going to do another double crochet into that stitch. So don't forget the yarn over, and there's your double crochet. Continue into the next space and do 3 double crochets. And then you get to that single crochet from before and you do a double crochet into that one. Continue this row with the same pattern where you do 3 double crochets into the space, 1 double crochet into this post. Now I am almost done with row number 4, so I did those 3 double crochets into the space, and then you have to find, and it's hard to see with this yarn, this space right here. That is where you will do that last double crochet. Now for row number 5, you are going to take color A, so the marshmallow color, at least in my case. You're going to pull it up, yarn over, and pull it through that loop. Once again, you're going to pull on the old loop so that you can't see it anymore. Now make sure that this yarn isn't too tight, right? Because otherwise if you do like this, it will scrunch up. So you don't want that. I know it's a little tricky at the beginning to kind of get the hang of how much yarn you should leave. Just the height of those 2 rows that we did. Now let's chain 1 and turn our work. We will work into this first stitch right here and do our single crochet. And then we begin the chain 4, skip 3 pattern. So 1, 2, 3, and then on this 4th one we do our single crochet. Again, chain 4, skip 3. It's a little bit hard to see with this yarn. 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th one, which should align with all the other ones, you do a single crochet. We will continue the same pattern for rows 5 and 6. So go all the way to the end, then chain 1, turn, then come back for row number 6. Come back and do the same pattern as here. I will meet you when you are done with that row number 6. I do want to mention when you're done with row number 5, so you're going to be here at the end, you chained 4 and then you skip 1, 2, 3, and you're going to have that chain of 3 from row number 4, and you want to insert your hook into that top chain of 3. That is where you will do that last single crochet. For row number 7, we will switch colors again. So bring up your colored yarn or yarn B, yarn over and pull up a loop, Remember to leave it sort of loose, not too loose. And then tighten that old one to the marshmallow color, so that now this is your new loop. Now chain 1, turn your work. Okay, row number 7 is actually also going to be the same as row number 6, but then when we get to row number 8, that is where you will make a different stitch. So single crochet into that first one, chain 4, and skip the chains and single crochet into that post and repeat. I will meet you at the end of this row. There's the end of round number 7. Now my yarn has switched colors. That's just the way the yarn comes, see? It just switches. Now for row number 8, we will chain 3 again, turn our work, now double crochet 3 into this space right here, so yarn over, don't forget that. Now this time we are not going to double crochet into this post right here, so this is where the pattern now changes. You're going to do a front post double crochet, and I will show that to you in a moment. So that means that we will skip row number 5 and number 6, and you have the post from row number 4 right here. Let me put this down so I can show you. So do you see this post? You will need to work around this post. So skip the marshmallow colored part, or color B part, or color A part, I mean, and work around this double crochet post. So the way you do this front post double crochet is you're going to yarn over, then you're going to come down all the way here, go behind this post that I mentioned, that I showed you, then yarn over and pull up a loop, but this time you have to kind of let go of the yarn to make it long so that it has the height of where you're at. Just kind of stretch it. Now you're going to yarn over and go through these 2 loops like you normally would on a double crochet. That you're going to have 2 loops left. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So there's that first front post double crochet. Let me show you again. You go into the next space and do your 3 double crochets as usual. Now I'm going to yarn over, come down here to that post, that double crochet post, so the one that lines up, then go behind it, yarn over, pull up a loop, a long loop. Sorry, my yarn is getting in the way. Okay, pull up that long loop, so just make sure you have sort of that height. Now yarn over and pull through these first 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops. It's just letting go of the yarn and not making it too tight or too loose. And then you continue into the next space with your 3 double crochets. Show it to you one more time. Okay, so you yarn over behind this post down here, yarn over, pull up a long loop. Then yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. There you have it. So this will be this is row number 8. Then you're just going to repeat the steps. Now to continue your blanket, this is now going to be, all you need to do is repeat the following rows. When you're done with row number 8, you're going to switch your color to the marshmallow color and do that same pattern as you did in rows number 5 and 6. Then when you get to row 11, you will repeat the same as row number 7. And then for row number 12, you will repeat the same as row number 8 with this front post double crochet. And it will take you, when you're up here in row number 12, you have to come down around this post. Okay, so it will be a continuation. If you need a reminder, just come back to the video. So this is about 3 inches now. Just continue with that. And I will meet you when you are done with that so we can start the border. Okay guys, I am finished. I have reached my desired length. I finished with my last row, or rows I should say, were those 2 with the color A. But if you guys remember at the beginning, I started with the foundation chain and then I did single crochets to make it look thicker and just give it some support, and then I started with the chain 4 single crochet 1 type of row. So I want to do the same up here. That means after I finished that last row, I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and then I will single crochet as usual. So instead of switching to the color B, I'm simply going to do that first single crochet at the beginning, and then I am going to single crochet into the chains. So that's, you will go into 3 of the chains, and then the post right here, that single crochet post, and then again single crochet into 3 of the chains, and you will see the spaces for it. So, and I know we have 4 chains here, but you will only go into 3 of them. The first one you wouldn't even really be able to get into, it's very tight. So go ahead and continue that until the end of the row, then I will show you what to do next. Now that we have come back this way, so here's your blanket, and you did that row of single crochets, you are going to slip stitch into this previous row by inserting your hook, then yarn over, pull through, and then pull that loop through the one that was on your hook. Now we're going to cut off this yarn, then yarn over and pull through that loop and tighten that. Okay, now we go back, go to where you have your yarn B, and as you see, we left it off here, so we are going to insert our hook right here where this yarn starts. So there's a little entry right there, insert your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop, chain 1, and then insert into that same stitch and do a single crochet. There, so that's where we are starting. Now you're going to notice there's a big space right here. We are going to skip that space and single crochet into this next space. So single crochet in there. Now we have the 2 rows in the color A, or the white, and you can see there's some entries right there. So you will do a single crochet into each one of those. 1, and then here's the other one. Now we are back at color B, so the fuzzy yarn, and you can see here's that first entry, then there's that big space. So you go into the first entry and do a single crochet, and you go into that second space before the white yarn. So you always want to leave that big space empty. You don't want to single crochet in there. So technically every row is getting 2 single crochets. So 2 where the white rows start, and 2 where the fuzzy yarn is. Just go all the way to the end of this side, and I will show you how we will do the corner. We are now here almost at the corner, so if you followed exactly where those stitches that I went into, then you will finish into the 2 last white rows, or color A rows. So 1 and 2, and then this is our foundation chain that we started with. So you're going to do another single crochet into this last stitch that you just did to round off the corner. And by the way, you don't have to count the stitches. If you followed along just as I'm doing, you'll be fine, and you will have to do the same on the opposite side to go into those stitches to have the same number. You can see there's 1 entry here, but then there's also this entry right here. This is where I want to insert my hook, and we will do a half double crochet. I don't want to have a lot of height on this side, that's why we're going to do those half double crochets. You yarn over, insert your hook in there, then yarn over, pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through all 3. Then the next one, you yarn over, go into this stitch down here, insert your hook, and by the way, I'm running this loose end along so that I don't have to thread it in later. Then yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Once again, yarn over. You have to kind of stretch it so that you see where your next stitch is, right there. So you're skipping all of this foundation chain spaces, and do your half double crochet. So you will continue like this until you get to the end of the row. Then at this corner stitch you will do 2 single crochets once again, and then you start just like we did on the other side. So then you do a single crochet in there, a single crochet in here, you skip the big space, and then do another single crochet there and into the 2 white ones. Get to the end of the row, and once again at the corner you single crochet 2 into that corner stitch, and you will also work, so not into these top spaces, but you will work down here and do your half double crochets. Okay, so the sides are single crochets, so the long sides are single crochets, and then the short or the width of the blanket are the half double crochets. So I am done with going around, and I stopped right here. So I haven't gone completely around, I still have these stitches, but just wanted to show you what it looks like. So I went into those stitches. Those are the bottom ones. Remember, on the short side we were doing the half double crochets. Now we want to do double crochets on this long side. So on both of the long sides we want to do double crochets. And now I am going to chain 3. So we would now go into these 2 spaces, and we will do that with double crochets. That, and I am actually going to add a stitch marker right here before I started those chains. So right where I started those chains, continue going into these single crochets that we did on the sides, but this time with double crochets. And it's going to be a lot easier now because now you have the stitches there, you can see where you're going. So go all the way to the end of this side with double crochet stitches. I have finished the long side, so here's the long side full of double crochets. Then I did 2 double crochets into 1 stitch right here for the corner, so we can turn. And now my half double crochet start on this shorter side, so on the width of the blanket. Normally we would just go through these 2 loops, but instead, so there's a 3rd loop in there. We want to go through all of these 3 loops. That's how you're going to do the short sides with the half double crochets, going through all 3 loops, okay? All right, and then when you reach the corner, instead of doing 2 half double crochets at the corner, we are going to do 2 double crochets at this corner, and then continue with double crochets on this long side until we get back to the shorter side or the width, and then you go again with half double crochets through all 3 of those loops. Okay, I will meet you once you are back at the original starting point. Now I am back where I originally started, where we have that chain of 3. So I did my half double crochet into that last stitch. Into that middle chain of the 3 chains that you did, you are going to do a slip stitch right in there. So yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the loop that was on your hook, and cut this off of this yarn. Then yarn over, pull it through, tighten that. Now you get your yarn needle. The way you thread this in is you go into any side that you want. I'm going to go into this side, and I'm just going to go up and down through some of these stitches, and I'm going to come back around through different stitches. And then again back this way. And if you want to do another knot, you can do that. So I'm going to pull this here, 1 more knot, and cut this off. And that is it. you are now finished with your blueberry yogurt blanket. Isn't it so pretty? I love how soft it is. It's perfect for maybe a preemie baby or just a smaller baby. You know, it's just that perfect size blanket, and it's not heavy at all. Like, it has the perfect weight. Like, it's not too light, but also not heavy. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I am sure your blanket turned out beautiful. I really like the way it makes it look like there's squares on the, like throughout the blanket. I will see you soon. Once again, thank you. This is my channel, Humblehus. Bye.